Joe. I'm Joe's back. Still practicing. I'm gonna be making a cup of tea. If you hear that, that's the kettle going crazy. Also, something really weird just happened. Ma'am, something really weird just happened with my AC, and I looked it up, and I think my AC is gonna explode, but essentially, my AC is off during the day, and then at night I turn it on, but I usually don't turn it on until about 7 p.m., I don't even know if is it 7? It's 8. But I came into the house, I was chilling, I was about to start playing Spiritfarer, the game that I was telling you about, and suddenly it sounded like my AC unit was gurgling, like, and I'm like, it sounded very watery, and I'm like, what is this? It was like, and then it just went, and it just stayed, and it was so loud too, and it just stayed doing that. And I'm like looking at the machine, and I unscrew it, and I pull out the air filter, because honestly I haven't changed that air filter since I moved in, which is bad. I promise I'm gonna go pick up a new one tomorrow. They provide it here. I'm just lazy. I can't believe I've never, anyway. And it was gross, and I removed it. And it wasn't that, honestly, it wasn't that gross. Like I said, I don't really typically turn the AC on that much, even though I'm an AC girl. You know, just trying to save some money while I'm not here. Anyway, it continued making that noise, and I checked, and the AC unit was still off. So I'm like, what is this? What has caused this? What is upsetting you right now? And I looked inside, and I can't tell what's up with it. You know, I can't really, there's no ice crystals. I feel like ice crystals are bad. There's nothing like out of the ordinary. It doesn't look crazy. So I texted maintenance, so hopefully they come tomorrow. Dang, it's loud. It sounds like fireworks. By the way, I didn't do anything for 4th of July, which is the first time I've like never done anything at all. I literally just forgot it was 4th of July and just sat at home and watched movies. Did I even watch movies? I think I just watched Gilmore Girls. Like, it wasn't, I didn't do anything, and I kind of regret it, because I loved going with my family to the Freedom Festival. That's like Freedom Festival that happens in our town, and I don't know, they just live a little far from me now. Finally. Okay, she's done. Here's the kettle. Sorry for yapping so much. Anyway, I went to the Asian grocery store because I love the Asian grocery store. I don't go that often. There's really not that many in Florida. Like, Florida needs like something. We don't have like a Chinatown or a K-Town or anything interesting. We have this but here in my city, they have this tiny little shop, super tiny. And I just went and got some teas. Oh, and I got these, which are super interesting. I don't even know. Are they different? No, I think they're the same. They're different flavors, but I think they're the same brand. Anyway, if you've ever had Captain Crunch, this tastes like Captain Crunch. Let me show you. Sure, right now. Look at this. It's like a giant Captain Crunch piece, and you bite into it, and it tastes slightly like mango, but not really. It really be tasting like Captain Crunch. And then this is the strawberry one, which I haven't tried yet. Sorry, just got clean it. It's just like, oh my god, they're pink. Ooh. It's like cereal. It's like eating giant pieces of dry cereal. And they're slightly sweet. They're good. They're good. The strawberry ones are good. They're both good. The strawberry one tastes like strawberry milk. It's just cereal. I'm definitely gonna repurchase it. I can see how someone can get addicted to these, because Captain Crunch, those little gold things, that was my cereal. That, oh my god. And the cereal milk afterwards, oh my god, it's so good. This tastes exactly like that. I don't know what's happening. It's honestly not that many calories. I just checked. Okay. I've decided to go with the jasmine tea. I don't really drink jasmine tea. Oh, they're so pretty. Okay, hopefully this isn't caffeinated because it's 8 o'clock and I gotta wake up at 6 tomorrow. I'm not waking up at 6. I'll probably wake up at 6:30. You know, somebody made a video today talking about time blindness. And I've discussed this before. He was discussing how on a deeper level, when someone is late, it just feels like they're being disrespectful and they don't prioritize you or your time, which is true. And the people in the comments, and as someone who has like literally stood by a window waiting for someone to show up, and they didn't show up until hours later, stayed for only like a little while, like a couple minutes, and then had to go, it really hurt. And so I was like, yeah, what's with the being late to everything? And I read the comments and people were defending time blindness so much. A lot of it has association with ADHD or something else, but this idea that you can't keep track of time, alarms don't typically help, and you have no perception of time, which I feel like is something I stayed in the comments for so long. And oh my god, I have a sweet tooth. Don't judge the amount of honey I'm about to put in this. By the way, this is the best honey. It is sunflower honey, and I get it at this kind of European bakery that sells like Ukrainian and Russian products. Oh my god, it's the best honey. Any other honey is like liquidy. This is like creamy and thick. I didn't mean to make that look weird. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, time blindness. I was really trying to understand the comments because I've lived with people who seemingly have time blindness, and it doesn't matter how much times you remind them of the time, they speed up for a second and then they slow down. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm running late, and then they like work within that speed for like half a second and then they slow down again. And then it's like the pressing issue of we need to be somewhere it's not in the vicinity, it's not in the mind. At least that's how I observed it. Because for me, I like to be at least on time. I'm not crazy about being early, but I like to be on time. Especially if I know that it's a time sensitive thing, like a movie starts at a certain time or an event starts at a certain time, or I just want to spend as much time possible with the person I'm gonna go see. I feel like it's not even for them. It's not even to respect their time, even though that is part of it. In my head, what I'm thinking is, I really want to be there for as long as I can because I want to be there. Because I want to be at the event, or I want to see this person. I want to spend time with this person. I want to spend as much time with this person as I can. I don't live with this person. I don't see them very much. Whatever the heck the case is. Every case is different. Because we can all show up at the airport early. And that was a point that people were making. Like, how come y'all are always at the airport? And they were like, because you are forced to be there 2 hours early. You're forced to. You don't have a choice. And I was like, So the thing that came to mind was this idea that meeting up for dinner or meeting for the movies or just seeing a friend at their house or whatever the heck, it's a choice. You know, like you're not being forced to be there. Kind of like a lot of people bringing up work too. They were like, hey, how are you on time for work? Like, and it really is like an obligation. And in a way, I'm trying to understand because you don't want to feel like you have these time obligations in your real life outside of work and like these restrictions. You want to feel like you are free to come and go as you please. And although that is great in theory for a person who has, everyone has things going on, in the same mindset, we have to think about the person who is waiting on you, or the person who wants to see you, or the person, you know what I mean? Because if you've ever hosted something and you sat there waiting for someone, or you planned some outing and the person you wanted to see didn't show up till an hour or two later, it hurts. So I think both things can be true. I think time blindness can be true, and I think feeling that hurt from being essentially stood up for 2 hours hurts. And it makes me feel stupid to wait for someone. I'm like, I should just be going on with my life, you know, at this point. And they either fail to give updates, or they do, and they're just so late, and they, you know what I mean? It just really hurts. And both things can be true. But as the person dealing, this is something I spoke with my student with autism about, because he really struggles with reading. And, you know, I don't. I like to read. And he really struggles with reading, so he just decides not to do it. He rarely engages with reading. If he sees more than like a couple words, he's like, oh, I'm not reading that. And I've met, you know, there's other people like that. And I'm like, you're not putting in any effort, which honestly I feel like was something I shouldn't have said. And he sat there for a moment and he said, it's not that I'm not putting in any effort, it's just hard for me. And that really hurt, that really stung me, not hurt me, that really stung me, and it really got to me, because I didn't want to imply that I didn't understand his struggle, which honestly I don't, because I'm not in his shoes, but I'm trying to empathize. When he said that to me, I don't remember exactly what my words were, but what I was trying to say was, yeah, it is hard for you, and this specific thing is harder for you than it is for other people. That means you're going to have to try that much harder on this thing, because other things are going to come way easier for you than they are for me. Other things are going to come way better for you. But this specific thing, reading, it's harder for you, which means you have to do more on this thing. It is something where you are going to have to use the tools at your disposal. It is something where you're going to have to use more brain power. It is something that's going to be much more of a struggle for you. And that is the card. This sounds harsh, but that is the card you were dealt. And it's not an unfortunate thing. I almost said unfortunately. And it's not an unfortunate thing, because like I said, he excels and things come easier in other spaces that do not necessarily come easy for me. So when he finds something really easy and his classmate is struggling, they both want the A, and for my student it's like a walk in the park, a piece of cake, and for the other student it's a struggle, but they both walk away with good grades, it means that one of them had to work a little bit harder because it didn't come as easy. And I do feel like maybe I'm way out of whack. I do truly believe people have time blindness and it's not fake. I feel like, unfortunately, in order to consider others and exist in the unfortunate time society that we do live in, and you don't have to conform with that if you don't want to, of course. And there are certain things that if you want to do on your own, you show up at whatever time you want. If you want to go to the mall at 30 minutes before they close, that is on you, and that is for you to have fun with. But if you're meeting with someone and this is the only day y'all could meet, and you decide to be an hour or 2 hours late, and it's not a decision. I understand it's harder for people with time blindness, especially people with ADHD. I think that with the cards that you were dealt, if it is really difficult for you to understand the perception of time or how much time passes, you're going to have to put more things in place to make sure that you are treating people with the same amount of respect that they have for their time. Because even people who don't have time blindness have to go out of their way to meet you or respect your time and meet the goal that was in place. That requires them to leave early, get ready earlier, do this, that, and the third. Maybe they're further away, whatever the heck. It is harder for people with time blindness to show up on time. However, that just means you're gonna have to work harder at it, because it is possible. And that is the mindset that I for years struggled with, because I had to, unfortunately in Florida, in my city, there is no public transport. And as a person with I can't even explain to you the driving anxiety that I had. It was so severe that I would cry at the thought of having to drive in the near future. I remember I drove to my cousin's house. This ties in. I drove to my cousin's house, and my sister went home with someone else. I drove there under the perception that she was going to drive home, but she ended up going somewhere else. and said, well, why don't you just drive back to the house? Like, it's like a 10-15 minute drive. I started panicking and having a full panic attack in one of the rooms and just crying because I had not mentally prepared for the idea of driving back. I was so frightened and so scared. My little baby cousin had to like comfort me, and people would say, why don't you just drive? Just drive. And I'm just like, you don't get it. And it was just harder. It was harder for me. And I don't know how much people are aware of driving anxiety, but I had to, and I still have it doesn't go away. It doesn't necessarily go away. I just came up with better tools over the years to accommodate myself, to get from point A to point B, because I need to be self-sufficient and I need to be able to drive in Florida, because that's the only option there is. And if I want a job and if I want to go somewhere and if I want to do something, I can't rely on others. And that's what I was doing. I was relying on others to pick me up and take me places. And that's unfair. And I knew that too. So I needed to come up with coping mechanisms. I needed to come up with tools that I made my car a comfortable place. Like I was in therapy for this. I had to make my car a comfortable place. I had to have the right tone, the right music playing. The amount of safety things I have put inside my car, the amount of money I have spent to make sure that I feel comfortable in my own car is insane. Like I have something on the seat belt. I have something in between the seats. I have it completely filled with pillows and decked out and blankets and things like that because I want it to be a comfortable place and I have gotten to a really great place where I'm able to just pick up and go. And although driving long distances still freaks me out and it still requires that I mentally prepare, I have come up with tools to help me, and I do it, and I do it scared. I don't know if that's even similar or even remotely similar, but what I'm trying to get at is there was something that I saw came super easy to others that was not at all easy for me, and it took me years to get to a point where I felt like I could do something maybe similar to what others were doing in terms of driving. And I feel like if you have time blindness, then what really needs to happen is some research. What really needs to happen is figuring out, and this may take time, this may take a while, figuring out what works best to make sure that you don't leave people with that dreadful feeling that you don't care, because that's not true. You do care. You do want to be places. Having time blindness is not a good thing. It's like a difficult thing to live with. I assume it's not something that a lot of people with time blindness, I read all those comments, they don't seem to be happy about it or proud of it. It is something they struggle with, and if that is something you struggle with, then some steps need to be taken to figure out what's best for you and what works for you. And it's gonna take time, and I would say if this is a problem you actually want to fix, or not necessarily fix, but if this is something you actually want to work on, then do that. Work on it, little by little, until you, and I can't give you the suggestions because for me, one alarm works. But I know what it is to ignore an alarm, and I know what it is to this, that, and the third, but it's not the same as people who are struggling with time blindness. It's not the same. So I want to be empathetic. I want to be able to truly understand, just because I was curious, just because in my head I was like, oh, it is disrespectful. It's a mean thing to like leave someone hanging for hours on end and to not even send like, I'm sorry, like I'm coming text. You know what? That's like, it's crazy. But, and I also want to suggest to you, if you really, really love the slower time is just a concept lifestyle, I suggest island life in Dominican Republic. And I'm not telling you to move there, but I'm just saying like there are places where a slower pace is kind of like, I don't know, maybe that's a goal. But if that's something that's really against your soul, like it's just this kind of like schedule-y life is against your soul, maybe consider moving to a place where time is not real and life is slower, and people wake up, sit in their chairs, and they eat mango. Like I don't know, maybe that could be a goal for like life. I don't know. I don't even know if this whole video I didn't think I was gonna get this deep into it. I just really wanted to like address it because I spent so much time reading those comments, and I don't know if that's you, then I don't know, it's really interesting. Hopefully I wasn't insensitive or offended anyone. If you have any more insight on this, I'm trying so hard to like read up on it and understand it from a different perspective. As someone who's not struggling with time blindness or ADHD, I would just love to learn. So if you have some more insight, like actually it's more like this, then tell me. Feel free to tell me. I'm here to learn and get better. So yeah. I don't know, that was so interesting. Anyway, back to the tea. So this is a jasmine tea. Hold on. Let me look up if this is caffeinated, because if this is caffeinated, this might not be the tea for me. Jasmine tea. Caffeine content. $25 milligrams. Is that a lot? What is that? Well, okay, it says an herbal jasmine tea has no caffeine. A jasmine tea blend made with black tea contains about 45 grams. And they're like a regular green tea jasmine tea is about 25. This is, I think, the green tea kind. Isn't it such a pretty like pink package? I just love it. Oh my god. I have no idea. It doesn't say. Aluminum sealed. It does not say Fragrant jasmine blossoms add a delicate touch to fine Chinese green tea. The stimulating aroma and pleasant flavor make this tea a complement to any meal. Ooh. I ate some ramen earlier, but it's very hot. Okay, let's see. This says honey. I should have put the other honey because this is more, I use that honey for like creamy teas. I don't know if that makes sense. Ooh. Ooh, I know what, ooh, I can taste the floweriness. Very floral. Unfortunately, floral things taste a lot like perfume. But it's not bad. I really like lavender and those types of things, so it's not bad. I actually really like it. What are the health benefits of jasmine tea? Yo, I saw this video where this girl, I told myself I would stop saying yo. Oh yeah. I saw this video of this, I don't know if it was, I don't know who, a person was talking about how tea is actually like, can cause kidney stones. And I'm like, what? Why are you raining on my what is wrong with you? Like, oh my god, it's supposed to be good for you. No, that really messed me up. Ooh, it has antioxidants. This is what Google AI says. It has antioxidants. It's inflammatory, cardiovascular health, good for digestion and mental health. Ooh, calming and sedative effect. It may also improve mental clarity and alertness. Reduce stress. Oh, okay. And be used as an antidepressant. Jasmine tea, green tea contains some caffeine, which can stimulate the brain. Oh. Okay, don't mind if I do. But apparently if it's oh, you know, it was actually saying that about boba tea. But I feel like, anyway, I feel like when you drink like actual tea, there's a lot of water content. And one of the things that they were saying was that you need to drink water with your tea, with your boba teas. Because, I don't know. I probably talked about it, you heard it, and it's probably going to show up for you, so. Interesting. That feels like a midday drink. And it kind of tastes like it could be a good iced drink. Interesting. Okay, bueno, okay, I don't know what to do about these because they're like open. And I don't want them to be open because then they're going to get weird. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry about the rant. Or I don't even know if I'd classify it as a rant. Thank you so much for watching.